This is a short presentation to address the public servants who are refusing to correspond or communicate with me on any and all levels. That is the criminal offense of breach of trust of public officer. So that would include Fred Hayes, the mayor of Saanich. That would include Jay Chalk, acting as BC ombudsperson. That would include Scott Green, the individual acting as a Saanich police chief, and a myriad of other public officers who refuse to serve me. That is not only civil offenses, they're also egregious criminal offenses. This is a draft of a correspondence I was creating on the evening of January the 30th. That was a Sunday. I'm going to read it to you. Who has the keys? To provide ample opportunity for the wrongdoer's time to vacate as required, I, the owner of that property, attended my stolen property shortly before 6 p.m. January 30th, 2022. My vandalized vehicle was broken into. Therefore, I must obtain video, audio proof of everything, so I took a short video for information, more importantly, your entertainment and pleasure, as I know what fun it is for the wicked to completely destroy the lives of the peculiar people, the lives of the righteous. That's the identifiable group I belong to. The following is private, unpublished, so only those with the link can view. I'm not sure if I should go in there and show that video during this video presentation. Perhaps I will not. It is a requirement the remaining trespassers' personal chattel be removed no later than 6 p.m. January 31st, 2022. Just in case these persons work, I, the lawful owner of that homestead, will be kind and considerate because I am, as always, still a woman of honor, absolutely in my right mind, despite what's been done to me and mine. Or their personal chattel shall be considered abandoned. Who is handing me, the lawful owner of that homestead, all the keys tomorrow at 6 p.m.? If no persons wish to see me face to face, and seriously, how could anyone ever face me considering the circumstances you all want to sweep under the rug or ignore, I'll expect the keys, all keys, to 604 Polyanthus Crescent be left in the mailbox no later than 6 p.m. when I attend my homestead to make sure it is secure. All foreign trespasser property is gone, as politely requested. If there is any damage to my property, it will be documented at 6 p.m. January 31st, 2022 for your information. I am not a destroyer. How could I be? I'm busy being destroyed on every level of my womanhood and life by wrongdoers, and do not wish to damage my own property by being forced to gain entry violently because I don't have the keys. Haven't I survived enough stonewalling, disrespect, hate crimes, targeting, and trauma? I never had my family's mail stopped or forwarded anywhere else since my beyond cruel, violent forced eviction May 19th, 2020, because I knew the truth. Now I am forced to clean up the mess, the complete destruction made of my life by the greedy and dishonest. If my beautiful son was with me, at least I'd have his support, but no, that perfect gift was stolen from me via discrimination, racism, hate, fraud. March 19th, 2009. That's now a pattern of behavior, provable pattern of behavior towards me by agents of the government of British Columbia. Understand, due to my acute, devastating, traumatic injuries from decades of persecution and being hated by the world, communication via text at that number or writing only, as I've learned the hard way, everything must be documented on the record. Then I sign my name. I am King's Counsel. I identify as King's Counsel because that is the truth of my identity. And as usual, I reserve all cultural rights of the peculiar people, which is my right to do. Now, before I had an opportunity to send that correspondence out, there was a violent, vicious assault on myself by members of the Saanich Police Department, orchestrated by agents of the Victoria Police Department due to their hatred of me and conspiracy to commit genocide on myself. That's why this email never went out, because I've been terrified since that violent assault took place on Sunday evening. Now, I'm not sure what the agents of Saanich PD do to my recording device when you roll up to commit not only civil offenses against me, but also egregious criminal offenses against me. But once again, the proof of this violent assault, this hatred, this discrimination of me, has not been caught. But I do know exactly what I heard, and I don't give false testimony against my neighbor, unlike all of you who are constantly providing false testimony against me. Now, Tuesday morning, I made phone calls to the District of Saanich to create an appointment between myself, Fred Hayes, Scott Green, and I also called on Tuesday morning, February the 1st, Jay Chalk, and left a message for Jay Chalk. Now, it is now Friday afternoon, close to 2 o'clock, the 4th of February, and I have heard not one word. I haven't heard a word from Fred Hayes. I haven't heard a word from Jay Chalk. So what that now equates to is breach of trust by public officer. That's a criminal offense against me, that you refuse to work with me or discuss these extremely serious matters. Because before I can move any complaints forward, you have to have proven to yourselves and to me that you are capable of understanding what's transpired and what's transpired against my family in the District of Saanich. You have been issued invoices consistently and repeatedly, which you refuse to acknowledge. Therefore, I now inform you that you have given acquiescence by your silence. You have now consented to pay the invoices immediately due to your silence. Your silence is agreement, and that's what you've provided. You provided legal proof that you are going to pay the invoices. The monies due are my property. I will not allow the District of Saanich to continue to hold the $34,000 that's owed to me, because it is my property. CIBC, agents of CIBC, you also have been issued an invoice repeatedly and consistently. You refuse to respond. Therefore, you as well have given acquiescence. You have assented to pay the invoice forthwith by refusing to speak to me. The $175,000 owed to me in the form of a gift by agents of CIBC, that is my property. You are withholding my property from me. That is not only egregious civil offenses against myself, it's also a myriad of criminal offenses against myself, including theft over $5,000. The $175,000 owed to me by agents of CIBC is due and payable immediately. Because the definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over again, expecting to get a different result. So since each one of you public servants, each one of you agents, for every principal that is committed this act of genocide against me and conspiracy to commit murder against me, once again, you are not going to do what's right. You've identified yourselves. You've identified yourselves as being blind and deaf. You've identified yourselves of all being guilty of breach of trust by public officers. So since you are indictable crime-committing criminals, you have no standing. Not only do you have no standing, you can't have a conversation with me because you're guilty as accused. And that's why you're refusing to speak to me. So I appreciate the fact that you are now going to be paying those invoices. So I'm going to have to get in contact with the Accounts Payable Department of the District of Saanich, because that $34,000 is due and is payable. I won't be accepting any excuses from the District of Saanich as you refuse to serve me, which is the indictable crime of fraud. That's a criminal offense of fraud, punishable by jail time and fines. So now I need to speak about the trespassers on my property, because it has been brought to my attention that individuals acting as the District of Saanich are guilty of the indictable crime of fraud by refusing to serve me and remove the trespassers from my property. So what that does is that creates a myriad of indictable crimes that must be charged against the persons who are acting as District of Saanich, against the persons acting as the Saanich Police Department and the Victoria Police Department. Because what's happening is, I'm going to read out the criminal offenses that have now been committed against myself. So you don't have an excuse, you don't have a defense for what you've done. There's nothing you could say to defend yourselves. So let's go through all the crimes that are taking place, because if those trespassers are still on that property, and the District of Saanich, the Saanich Police Department agents refuse to serve or protect myself and my property, you all have no honor. That's dishonorable conduct. You can't sit in those seats if you have no honor. You can't sit in those seats. You can't sit as agents for any district or any city if you're an indictable crime committing criminal. And that's exactly what you are. That's the truth. I have proof. What do you have? So as it stands right now, 10 minutes to 2 on the 4th of February, a myriad of agents of the Victoria and Saanich Police Departments, a myriad of agents acting as the BC Ombudsperson, a myriad of agents acting as the District of Saanich, including the Saanich Mayor, the trespassers on that property, Anne Benjamin Howe and Sandra Dennis, are guilty of the following criminal offenses. And this doesn't include the myriad of civil offenses that these persons are committing against me by refusing to leave that stolen property. These are criminal offenses: public mischief, criminal negligence, criminal harassment, uttering threats, torture, theft, theft from woman having special property or interest, fraudulent concealment, possession of property obtained by crime. Now, the trespassers on that property, if they are still there, they are in possession of property obtained by crime. That mortgage on that house obtained by Benjamin Howe and Sandra Dennis is a mortgage that has been obtained by crime. So the property, if it's not in my possession, there's criminals on that property. There's also the criminal offense of false pretense, because the Victoria Police Department agents are lying, so they can continue to torture me, lay false charges, set me up for false arrests, all based on fraud, because they refuse to admit that they understand, so they can play these sick little games with me and claim ignorance. I'm sorry, I will not be allowing you to get away with that. So willfully causing event to occur, mischief. And so I do have right to arrest the trespassers on that property. I do have full and complete right to demand their identification from all four persons if they are continuing to be in possession of property obtained by crime. Whoever believes they're in possession of that property has been obtained by the commission of crime. No one can change the truth that that is my property. No one can change the truth that that property was gifted to me by my spouse. Your legal rules are not going to change, and you didn't follow your legal rules. Each and every agent of the Victoria Police Department, each and every agent of the Saanich Police Department, each and every agent of the District of Saanich is guilty of breach of trust by public officer. You do understand. Of course you do. I've explained it to you repeatedly, and like I just finished saying, the definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over again, expecting to get a different result. I am never going to get a different result from every single indictable crime committing criminal that has been involved in this latest act of genocide against me because of your hatred for me, my cultural identity, my ethnic heritage. I've explained it all to you, and everything I've said to you is the truth, so you can't deny or refute what I'm saying, right? So I have invoices to back up why this invoice, why this property, this close to $33,000 is due to me by agents of the District of Saanich, because you aided and abetted the theft of my home from me. You aided and abetted the forced eviction, the violent forced eviction. You aided and abetted continual repeated, not only civil offenses against myself, but a myriad of criminal offenses against myself, making you all guilty. So what's happening is you're refusing to serve me because you're guilty and you don't want to face me. But that's not going to stop. That's not going to stop what I have to do. I don't need to go talk. I don't need someone to hold my hand. I'm sui juris. I'm completely capable of handling my own affairs. I'm an expert in law and justice. And I'm not going to cause any person, any agent, any harm. That's not who I am. That's not what I am. But I can guarantee you that this Sunday night, there better be keys to my home inside that mailbox on that property. Actually, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to provide a contract, an enforceable contract. I'm going to speak to you and set up a contract that no agent of the Saanich Police Department and no agent of the Victoria Police Department may speak to me unless I speak to you. Basically, what I'm setting up is a restraining order. Because I'm in fear for my life, because of the hate-filled attitudes of the agents of the Victoria and Saanich Police Departments towards me, I'm explaining to you that I'm speaking out loud a contract, an enforceable contract, no different than a restraining order. I'm restraining you from abusing me. I'm restraining you from discriminating against me. I'm restraining you from victim shaming me. I'm the victim of a crime. And when a woman reports crime and then is treated as committing a crime, that's because each agent that I've spoken to and had the displeasure of dealing with is, in truth, themselves an indictable crime committing criminal. The civil torch you have violently assaulted me with, you are personally responsible in your personal capacity. You are not above the law. And I know you all believe that you are. That is a lie. That is a lie. That is my home. It's been stolen from me. I will not continue to live in a dangerous, unhealthy, unsafe housing. I did call around Tuesday morning seeking some type of assistance from the Public Service Agencies of British Columbia to once again find that there are no services available for a woman in my position, for a woman that is a target for genocide and hatred of this level by agents of the province of British Columbia. So this is a problem, and that's why you don't want to speak to me. That's why you don't want to deal with me. Because I know who you all are. I know what you all are. I know your intention. You see, I don't have beliefs. I don't have an opinion. I have knowledge. That's part of being one of the peculiar people. We have knowledge. We don't believe. No, we know. We know what you all are. We know who you all are. You identify yourselves. You identify yourselves. But I can be guaranteed that I'm going home and I will not be violently assaulted again. Why haven't I heard anything from the Saanich Police Department regarding the hate crime that blew out a window in my car? I certainly hope you realize I have knowledge of who committed that crime against me. But is it because this individual claims to be a billionaire that the agents of the Saanich Police Department are going to hide this hate crime? and hide this criminal like you've done to every other criminal who's attacked me and stolen something from me? Yeah, I called yesterday, and I've started now to explain to agents of CIBC that you're going to have to tell the truth about what you've done to me. Because your agents in Kamloops and your agents in Victoria here that stole my house, and the agents acting at the BC Supreme Court who embezzled every dollar, you're all going to be held responsible in your personal capacities because you're not above the law. Where did you start to believe that you're all above the law? Do you realize that that is severe mental illness? And that severe mental illness is only common amongst the Rh positives? Yeah, sorry to bring it up again. You see, but my father taught me the truth of why it is that I can't have an intelligent conversation with the individuals I'm trying to deal with, because these individuals are not my species. A human is legally defined as a monster because that's exactly what a human is. And a human, all humans have Rh positive blood. If you put my blood, my Rh negative blood, in a petri dish beside Rh positive blood, my blood would run. You could see it with the naked eye. You don't even need a microscope to see my blood move away from the Rh positive blood, because that's the blood of the toxic. That's the blood of the tear. That's the blood of the children of the devil, and that's all scriptural. Now, when science backs up scripture and scripture backs up science, it's scientific. I can medically, genetically, scientifically prove that the individuals, the agents that are committing these egregious acts against me are all literal male and female humans. The same intelligence as animals. My father, the Spirit of Truth, the Sovereign King, he taught me that because I was literally unable to move, not understanding why I can't be understood or heard by any of these male and female humans that I'm trying to deal with. You're literally compulsive liars. There is no truth in any of you. That's why you can't tell the truth. You're toxic. And you're making me physically sick. I have been physically sick all week because I'm once again being forced to deal with the toxic monsters, acting as agents for the District of Saanich, acting as agents for the Saanich Police Department, acting as agents for the Victoria Police Department. All three are criminal organizations. They hire criminals. They fund the lives of criminals. So the fact that you can't have an intelligent conversation with me, a living woman, I can prove scientifically, medically, and genetically why you can't handle me and why you can't deal with me. But I can guarantee you that these invoices that I've submitted, that now you've provided acquiescence. Your silence now provides my right to pick up $175,000 from the Douglas Street branch of CIBC. And I'm going to pick that money up from this male right here, this Harman Mangat, the manager-client advice agent for CIBC, Douglas Street. I will not be touched. I will not be harassed when I pick up this invoice. This invoice is a gift. This is a gift. You're reimbursing me for the monies that have been stolen from me by CIBC. And there's a reason behind all what needs to be paid. I've explained it to you repeatedly. I've explained it to the blind and the deaf repeatedly. Haven't I? And yet you stay silent, which is a hate crime. Right. So now here's all the civil offenses that have been committed against me by all the persons. Once you all knew that I had issued an eviction to the trespassers on my property, you have to move. You have to leave. You don't get to stay. because now we've got months and months of civil trespasses against me. Guilty of conversion, guilty of unlawful means, guilty of inducing breach of contract. Right? So all these acts that govern the lives of the society that you've all created for yourselves, these are all enforceable upon the indictable crime-committing criminals who may or may not still be occupying my stolen lands and premises. Shall we go over it? Because I've shown you the contract I'm enforcing. I am the woman lawfully entitled to possession of those premises. I am the lawful occupier of those premises. These are the premises that I'm going to be possessing. Okay, so you're not going to be speaking to a bar member agent. I handle what needs to be handled because I'm not an incompetent. I'm not a ward of the court, and I don't need someone to speak for me, thank you. I'm not one of the dead. Only the dead need a spokesperson. Only an incompetent ignorant needs to have a guardian, a bar member, handle their affairs. So if that's what you have to do, and you're a public service agent, then you're not going to sit in that seat because you have to understand all the acts. You have to understand the law. And if you don't, then you can't be a public servant. That's just the way it works. This is an invalid mortgage. It has no standing. I've already explained that to you repeatedly. I explained to you what equitable interest is. I showed you the contract I'm enforcing. This is the law. This is the law. No one is going to supersede the law with legal lies. Sorry. And this is the legal document right here that states that my spouse is the lawful owner of this, our property, our homestead, and I have been outside of my homestead for years due to emotional abuse, satanic ritual abuse by the agents that I'm speaking of now. I am going to be needing the names of the 3 indictable crime-committing criminals who were at the door on Sunday by the direction of the indictable crime-committing criminals posing as the Victoria Police Department. The Victoria Police Department has a history of committing not only civil offenses against me, but a myriad of criminal offenses against me. Fraud being the most prominent. Refusal to serve is fraud. And that's what you do. You refuse to serve because you're frauds. Do we understand each other? So I need the keys left in my mailbox no later than Sunday night at 6 o'clock. Everything and every criminal better be off that property. All their property better be gone. All their personal chattel has to go. I'm going home, and no one's going to stop me. You have overplayed your hand. I do know my rights. I do know exactly who and what I am, thank you. That's what makes me an expert on who and what you all are. That's what makes me an expert on what, who, and all you all are. You're hate-filled individuals. You hate me and seek to end my life with your refusal to serve, refusal to do what's right. The matters are going to move forward. Criminals are going to end up receiving what they deserve according to the way, the truth, and the life, which is what you bind yourself to when you attack one of the peculiar people. So I certainly hope everyone has a nice weekend. I don't know who's going to be leaving the keys in my house. I'm not going to be damaging my own property by having to gain access violently to my stolen property. That's not going to happen. Because that'll be more trauma against me. I need to go home. That's my property. I'm so sorry that you seek to murder me continually with your refusal to serve, but I'm not going to be putting up with that level of disrespect from any agent of any public service corporation. The District of Saanich, you're a public service corporation. Do you understand that? You serve the individuals in the district, and you've refused to serve me. So that's a problem. And you're not going to go sweep it under the rug, and you're not going to just continue to just ignore me. Like I just finished telling you, the definition of insanity is do the same thing over and over and expect to get a different result. And I'm never going to get a different result unless I force you to do what's right, because you're incapable of doing what's right. You've identified yourselves as wrongdoers. You've identified yourselves as evildoers. That's not my problem. That's your problem. And I suggest you turn around and go the other way, because, yeah, hell is real. That's part of the gospel, the kingdom of heaven. That's what we're here to tell you.